Hello, and welcome back to Bible Wits Bible Corner. Today, we're going to be in the Old Testament. I'm going to read 2 Samuel chapter 6, verses 6 and 7, and I'm going to start with the English Standard Version. And when they came to the threshing floor of Nacon, Uzzah put out his hand to the Ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen stumbled. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and God struck him down there because of his error, and he died there beside the Ark of God. Now the New Century Version. When David's men came to the threshing floor of Nacon, the oxen stumbled. So Uzzah reached out to steady the Ark of God. The Lord was angry with Uzzah and killed him because of what he did. So Uzzah died there beside the Ark of God. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is how serious is God. And by this passage, God is very serious. When God gives us instructions, specific things to follow, we need to follow them exactly as he says. The Israelites were told to not touch the ark or they would be killed. Uzzah touched it. He thought he was doing right. However, God laid out specific instructions. Would God have let the ark fall? Honestly, where the Bible is silent, I'm going to be silent. However, if someone was to ask me to speculate, I would say no, God would not allow the ark to fall. Now, there's plenty more examples of God's wrath in the Old Testament. There's even examples of God's wrath in the New Testament. Ananias and Sapphira comes to mind there, lying about how much they actually had when they were giving. So, that being said, I don't just want to focus on God's wrath when talking about how serious is God. Let's talk about God's grace, God's mercy, God's love. Those are also found in the Old Testament. See, it's the same God in the Old Testament as it is in the New Testament. The Ninevites comes to mind as a good example of being shown God's grace, mercy, and love. When Jonah went to preach to them and the entire city repented, they received grace. They were shown mercy. I don't want to experience God's wrath. I read examples of it in the Bible. I don't want to experience it. I don't want to brag either. So it's hard to say that I experience God's grace. But as Christians, we do experience God's grace. Because we fall every day. We stumble every day. But how serious is God? Let's get down to it. He gives specific instructions for us to follow. Be baptized. Sin no more. Turn away from your evil ways. Specific instructions. Now the sinning, willful sinning is a huge thing. Do not sin knowing that what you're doing is wrong. I've said it before, we all make mistakes. We each stumble every single day. I've said it in a video in the past. No one can control the tongue. We praise God and we curse people. That's why we are given grace. But still, we are given specific instruction. And we see examples of what happens if these instructions are not followed. I don't want to be on God's wrath, on the side of God's wrath. I want to be on the side of God's grace and mercy. I hope you find encouragement in this, and I hope you have a wonderful, God-centered day. Bye.